Who remembers making mixtapes? From what I hear, I think some people still do it. I think it's because they want hard copies. So yeah, I remember making mixtapes, and I remember waiting. You know, sometimes you wait a couple hours, an hour, because they would play the same songs. And, you know, you try to cut out the DJ. Always the DJ is coming in the beginning and the end, and you just want to cut them out. So I would have a tape full of songs, and they will all be trimmed on the end. Found out years later, don't quote me on this, probably should have researched it, but I think by law they had to do that, so you couldn't get full copies from the radio. So they had to talk over the beginning, they had to cut off the end and the beginning. So it was really tough getting a full or even just the least amount of clip of your favorite song that month, because you know how it was back then. We played the same song 3 times in a row every hour. The good old days, but it was fun. I never really made mixtapes for girls. I know I did a few times. I just can't seem to recall. If you remember making mixtapes for the opposite sex, let me know how that went. But yeah, I'm pretty sure I made a few love tapes, probably from records I had. So that was fun, and just making mixtapes was cool. But most of the time, I was always making my current list of my favorite songs from the radio. So in this video, we're gonna watch this video because they already did all the hard work about the life, how it was making mixtapes, and modern kids have no idea, even though I think kids still do it. You know, this is an 80s nostalgia page, but it looks like our generation, you know, the younger generation looks up to our generation. So we're gonna watch this video, Mixtapes Explained to Modern Kids. I'll link the original video below if I get more than 100 views. Here we go.
The ability to instantly share any song from the history of recorded music is actually a pretty recent invention. It wasn't so long ago that if you wanted to share music, you did it with physical objects called cassettes. We called these mixtapes, and you are not going to believe how difficult it was to make one.
One thing I might add, who remembers when the back of the tapes were poked out, preventing you from recording over the tapes? So, you know, when you're a kid and you just didn't have enough tapes, you might grab an old album and you put tape over the 2 ends at the top, and then now you can record over it. I don't know how I learned that hack, but it was definitely a little hack from back in the days. Memory unlocked. This is the nostalgia page. Let me know if you ever did that.
First thing you needed was a blank tape. A package of blank tapes was like a box of potential. And once you had the tape, you didn't fill it with music by dragging and dropping while you checked Facebook in the other window. The songs had to be painstakingly recorded one by one in real time. Some people would even listen to the radio all day, waiting for their song to come on just so they could capture it on a mixtape. Think about that the next time you're complaining that the obscure band you like isn't streaming on Spotify. It was such a labor of love with so many challenges. Tapes were tangible objects that came with hard time limits. If you didn't plan, you might run out of tape in the middle of a song. And then you had to do that whole side over again. Making a mixtape was a process, but it was also an opportunity to think about the person you were making the tape for. From the songs you chose to the order you put them in, every aspect of making a mixtape was an opportunity to say something. It could almost feel like actually producing an album. You would imagine them listening to the music, hoping they'd appreciate every choice you made. But the truth is, they didn't need to. Making a mixtape was frankly such a pain in the ass that the mere act of simply doing it was enough to send a message. Every mixtape was an irreplaceable, one-of-a-kind, special in its own way, which made it all the more heartbreaking when things went wrong, though they could usually be fixed with the help of some other advanced 80s technology. You know, obviously we have developed more efficient, simpler ways to share songs you like, but unless you are actually a musician, there is still no better way to say something with music, especially when that something is I think we should make out.
Haha, let's make out. So another thing I might add, just in tapes in general, not just mixtapes, but who else remembers, you know, this is the nostalgia page, who else remembers driving cars? Some cars had the feature and some didn't. When you rewind the tape, you couldn't listen to the radio. And sometimes by the time you rewind the tape, you get to your destination and you're like, fuck, especially if it's a short trip. So yeah, I remember that sucking the most. Cars that couldn't play radios while rewinding the tape. Yeah, that was the thing. That was a feature later on. Anyways, it's your boy True Flex from the 80s Nostalgia Flex page. I'm Flex, in case you didn't know. Stick around. Trying to get better at this. I suck. But yeah, just consistently uploading to YouTube is the goal right now. And hopefully I'll get a little better each time. It's your boy True Flex. Catch you on the next.